2026 was supposed to be the year of AI agents. Every keynote said it, every LinkedIn post said it. So here's an honest question. Have you actually built one? And maybe here's a better question. Have you built one that delivers real value? Not just a demo you showed off and never opened again.
If you answered no to either question, well, I'm about to show you how you can build not one, but 2 agents that deliver value from day one. Picture this. You run a flourishing business and a potential new client that you've been pitching for emails to confirm that you're still on for the rate that you've discussed.
You agreed to that rate 3 weeks ago, somewhere. An email, call, a voice note? Could you find it in 10 seconds before you have to reply, "Let me check," to your own promise? I'm not sure I could.
And the thing is, the solution has nothing to do with taking better notes. It comes from building an AI agent that treats your business data in a completely different way, by storing and retrieving it through longer-term memory, rather than through its context window.
Today I'm going to show you what an AI agent actually is, how it's different from the ChatGPT or Claude chat window you already use, and then I'm going to build 2 production-ready agents live using BuildShip's new agent builder. One that knows my business, and then one that knows my business and can act on it, make real decisions, and even ask me before doing anything risky.
Before we jump in, if you're into AI-assisted building, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming.
So what's the actual difference between an agent and the chatbot you're already familiar with? When you talk to ChatGPT or Claude, it thinks its answers, but then you do all the work. You copy the answer, paste it into the email, update the spreadsheet, message the client. The AI thinks and you act. But essentially an AI agent closes the loop entirely. Picture a simple system with 3 parts. You've got the brain, the LLM, the AI model, plus its memory. Then there are tools, things like your documents, your inbox, your ticketing system, your CRM. And then there's the instructions that connect the thinking to the doing. When does this AI agent act on its own? When does it act on your behalf?
And that's it. They're the 3 components that make up an agentic system. And here's the part most people get backwards. The hard part was never the brain bit. The brain comes ready-made. It's rented by the LLM that you choose. The part you design is the wiring between thinking and acting. And that's not a coding skill necessarily. If you can write a clear handoff document for a new hire, you already have this. You're not building intelligence from scratch. You're giving existing intelligence a body and a job. So let's stop talking theory. I'm going to build 2 agents live right now in BuildShip's Agent Builder. Agent 1 is a client knowledge agent. It takes the business data that I already have, things like contracts, briefs, decisions made in emails, and turns it into something I can question and ask using natural language. Agent 2 is a support triage agent. It doesn't just answer, it clarifies incoming requests, drafts replies grounded in my actual docs, takes action, and this is the important bit, escalates to me for approval when the stakes are high. Knowledge first, then action. Let's build. You start by creating a new agent in BuildShip's new agent builder. Name it after a real client or a business domain. You'll start by writing the system prompt. Keep it short and readable. So something like, you are the knowledge agent for... Answer only from the indexed documents. Always cite which document you found the answer in, And if the answer isn't in the documents, say so. Never guess and never make anything up.
You can choose from any of the leading models or even add your own custom model in. Not only that, but you can choose to use your own key or build your credits.
Next, we'll open the Files section. We'll drag in some real finalized documents, a proposal, a contract, and some key email threads, maybe some meeting note transcripts. This is the step that used to be a weekend of engineering. Watch what BuildShip does here with my files. I drag my finalized client documents into files and it automatically indexes them into a vector database, scoped to this agent. Forget embeddings, chunking strategies, vector stores. Uploading a file is the RAG pipeline. The agent can now search and reason over PDFs, documents, even websites, all in real time. So let's put our agent to work. Here we can ask, what discount did we agree for this client? And where was it confirmed? Look what it did not do. It didn't dump every note I've ever written. It went and found the one clause that mattered and told me which document it came from. That's retrieval. The chat window is just the interface on top. Now let's run a second query. What did I already tell this client about the delivery date? It was in an email. Look at that. It's under 10 seconds. But here's the thing. This agent still only knows. It can't do anything, and knowing without doing is just a smarter search bar. So let's fix that. The more tools you arm your agent with, the more valuable it becomes. The difference between an agent that feels like magic and one that's just a search bar with better manners is what it's allowed to touch. But every tool you hand it is also autonomy you hand it. More access, more power, more risk if it's misused. Most agent builders force you to choose. Easy but toothless, or powerful but scary. The answer isn't power, the answer is power plus accountability. Let me show you what that looks like. We create our agent, and we start with the system prompt. You are a support triage agent. Clarify each incoming request as either a question, bug, or refund request. For questions, answer from the knowledge base and cite the source. For bugs, create a task and notify the team. For any refund or account change, draft the response, but always request human approval before acting. Finally, and most importantly, we'll tell our agent to escalate to a human whenever the request involves any refund or credit over $500, any change to an enterprise annual contract, any cancellation, or any plan or seat reduction. When in doubt, escalate rather than act. Plus a few notes on tone and manner of speaking. In the files, we'll point at the same knowledge base from our first agent, plus some new help docs, billing policies, and refund information. Now for the important bit. We're going to make our agent autonomous by giving it a set of tools, which we add into the system prompt. You can use any node from the node library within BuildShip as a tool that your agent can use. Tools can also be workflows that you already have pre-existing. You can hand off to another BuildShip agent specialized in answering specific requests within its own system prompt. Or tools can even be MCP servers. If there's no pre-existing integration, you can even build the tool yourself in a custom flow and hand it to the agent. You're never stuck with someone else's integration list. In the system prompt, we'll add the tool instructions. And with agents, you need to ensure that the labels and the way that you reference them in the system prompt agrees and matches. And BuildShip won't do that for you automatically. For example, here in our system prompt, we're asking our agent to create a task for engineering. Our engineering team track bugs in Linear, so I'm going to add the Create New Issue node via the Add Tool button. So the first thing to do when adding any tool is to relabel it manually and add in a detailed description of what the tool does as clearly as possible. And that's from the agent's perspective. So here we'll add the label to create engineering task, all one word. And then rewrite the description in one line from the agent's point of view. Log a reported bug as a task for the engineering team. Same treatment for the node we add to notify the team. Our team use Slack. So we're going to notify the team using the Slack node, but we're going to relabel it Notify Team. With the description, alert the support escalations channel about a new bug ticket. So why does this matter? Well, it's because under the hood, every tool you attach gets handed to the model as a function definition. So the name, the description, and the inputs. That's what the agent actually reads when it's deciding what to do. Your system prompt tells it when to act. The tool's name and description tell it what the tool does. If the prompt says create a task and the tool is still called create an issue, well, then you're asking the model to guess. When this happens, use this tool to do this. That's the whole pattern. Next, we'll add the human in the loop approval node on the refund path. And this is where, for specific tasks, our agent will reach out to a human before it takes any action. Now, while you're adding a tool, another thing that's important is to pin everything the agent shouldn't touch. So that means the things like database ID or the Slack channel. Fill these in yourself. Never ask the agent to guess. The agent should only fill in the inputs it's enabled for it, like the bug summary or a short description. Fix things stay fixed. The model should only be writing what it has the context to answer. When it's ready, ship your agent. Now, I told you at the start, no demos you never open again. So let's actually stress test it. 3 tests, 1 for each path in the system prompt. So we've got a question, a bug, and the one that matters, a refund that crosses the risk line and the policy line. First, the easy one. I'll send in what most support requests actually are. A plain question just saying, hi, what's your refund policy on annual plans? Watch what it does. It classified this as a question, it's gone to the knowledge base, and it's answered from the billing policy doc with a citation right there. No tools fired, nothing touched. It knew this didn't need action, just an answer. That's the triage part doing its job. Now let's give it something that needs doing, not just knowing. We've got a user saying the export button does nothing on the dashboard when I click it. It started this morning. This time it's classified it as a bug, and look, 2 tool calls. It's created the task in Linear, over here, titled and described from the user's message, and it's pinged the support bug channel in Slack. And a primary reason it picked the right tools is that relabeling work we did right at the start. Now the real test. The one we're getting it wrong costs actual money. We've got a customer saying, this isn't working for us. We want to cancel and get a refund on our annual plan. We paid $1,200. So this is a cancellation and a refund over $500. So 2 tripwires in one message. So it's classified the request. It's pulled the refund policy. It's drafted the full reply and then it stopped. It's asking me approve or reject. And it sends an email to the email address that we have identified. This right here is the feature that turns an agent from a demo into something you can trust with real work. It made a decision. This request crosses the risk line I defined. It did all the legwork, drafted the reply, pulled the context, and then it asked. I approve, it executes. I reject, it doesn't. And that's the point. This isn't about replacing an employee. It's about clearing the repetitive work so the decisions that matter get more attention, not less. And when it acts, I can audit it. Every step, every tool call, every input and output logged and replayable. If it does something odd, I don't guess, I read the trace, I read the logs. The jump from a fun weekend agent to one a business can trust has almost nothing to do with making the AI smarter. It's the deeply unsexy stuff. Scoped memory, so each agent only sees the data it needs. Human in the loop approvals on the risky calls. Observability, so you can check the receipts. Version control, so a bad change rolls back instead of taking down your support inbox.
Notice what this list is. It's the same accountability you demand from any AI process you trust with your business. Show your work, get sign off on the big stuff, keep an audit trail. The difference between a toy and a tool you can trust isn't necessarily intelligence, it's accountability. And that's exactly the layer Agent Builder gives you out of the box. Everything we built today, the prompts, the escalation rules, the check before you act logic, none of it was programming. It was clear thinking written down. Describing what good judgment looks like for a task in plain words. The people who'll be best at AI agents aren't necessarily going to be the best coders. They're the clearest thinkers.
So the question is no longer, can I build this? Of course you can. It's, if you could hand off the repetitive half of your work tomorrow and keep every decision that actually matters, what would you hand off first? If you want to build yours, BuildShip is what I used here, and there's a link below. It's free to start. Comment with the first task you'd hand to your agent. I build these things in public, and your answers decide what I build next. I'm Stuart, and let's build.